Today we're going to find out which weighs less, my 14-year-old poodle Shih Tzu or my slightly more aero, non-aero road bike.
First off, I wanted to say I'm new to this YouTube thing. I'm learning, I'm having fun, but thank you to everyone who has subscribed. I will keep making videos. So this bike is obviously decidedly not aero. It's got the traditional tube shapes, you know, those nice classic clean lines.
Clean.
It's light, and they wanted to make it a good riding bike. So it is very purposefully not aero. I just wanted to soften the edges a little bit, add some aero bits where I could. There were a number of things that I wanted to do with this build to make it what I wanted it to be. So number one was the weight. I have never had a weight weenie bike. I've never had a bike that close to or certainly not under the UCI limit of 6.8 kilos. So I wanted to do that. This bike obviously has the good bones for that. It is a light frame set for sure. So it was an easy place to start. Two, it's a great bike to ride. I wanted to continue with that. You know, it's comfortable. It still is a fast bike.
Fast?
But it's a little bit more comfortable. I wasn't gonna do any tires narrower than 28 mil. So that had to happen. A comfy saddle. I wasn't gonna do a weight weenie saddle, and this one is not light at all, but it is comfy. I'll tell you that right now. I know there are other saddles out there for other people. The power one fits me well, and the mirror 3D printed squishiness it's comfy. The other one's power. I wasn't gonna not have a power meter, so this is definitely not the lightest one out there, but this one looks cool, and got this aero crown. It saves me a 1/4 watt per hour. But you know what? It looks cool, so yeah, aero. So then I just wanted to make it aero where it wouldn't detract from the ride. So I felt like these wheels were a pretty good balance. So I went with these Roval wheels because they were about as light as I could get for this deep. The front's like 55, rear is 62 mil deep or something like that. The front is a wide boy. I guess it's to help with the yaw, the crosswinds. It's a little shallower for that purpose. And you know what? It works. It does a good job. They're still deep. That makes them look cooler, makes them a little bit faster. And I've been really happy with them. I specifically chose the non-tubeless ones because they're actually substantially lighter. They were like 150 grams or 100 plus grams lighter. So throw in some Tubolito tubes and it's about as light as you can get for this depth. I did go with a more traditional expected Aethos bar. I went with a Roval Alpinist. It's very light. It's integrated, so it looks cool. But I think that means it's a little bit more aero. It's integrated, which means there's no stem bolts and all that chunky stuff on the front. Yeah, I could have gone more aero for sure with a true aero bar, but I went with this one. It was easy and it's light. I actually added weight to my build by throwing on the Kogel Kolossos oversized derailleur cage. Their cage was purely for aesthetic purposes. I wanted to tie in the gold from the fork to the rear of the bike. The gold is a good match. I don't know, I think it looks good. What do you think?
All right, it's weigh-in time.
They are the same.
I had absolutely no idea that they were going to be exactly the same weight. It all started because I took Sasha to the vet and I was like, wow, she weighs pretty close to what my goal weight is. The stars had just aligned for her and the bike to weigh exactly the same. So I did have to make a few additional little changes to get all the way to my weight goal. I had to track down a red cassette. Overall, it's shaved like 100 grams from the Force One. So it's my first ever red cassette. I got some ridiculous light but cool looking bottle cages. I wrapped my bars backwards so I didn't have to put electrical tape on there. Imagine all the weight I saved from that.
Imagine.
This build, I wanted it to be everything. We're talking pedals and cages and computer mount, everything to go out and ride on there, on the bike, and it's less than the UCI limit. It had to be all that without it being any less comfortable or versatile while being more aero, and I think a bit cooler too. So I got this bike, I went out on my first ride. I'm lucky enough to have a 10-mile canyon climb just right in my backyard. So I came up here, was excited. First impressions, ride felt good. You know, it was comfortable. Climbing, it felt like any other good bike. I've ridden plenty of bikes that feel good going up a climb. I think all that takes is good power transfer and a lightish bike. Where this thing really shined was turning around. I got up to the top and I turned around to come back home, and I've got this 10-mile windy, twisty descent. And I was so impressed by how well this thing handles. And I only fully appreciated it when I got home and saw that it was my fastest ever descent on a climb that I've done countless times. And, you know, at the top I was taking pictures and putting gloves on and like not hurrying. But just because of how well it handled through the twisty descent up top, or it was one of my fastest ever times. It was up there really close, and it was one that I didn't push on at all. Like, you know, it was just me leaning into the corners and having fun with it. So that has led me to really, really appreciate, and it's what made me kind of fall in love with this bike. Handles super well, it's comfy, does all the things I want it to do. How much slower is it in a sprint? What am I missing out on? I don't know. I've been a really big fan of it though. So, been very impressed. And just, come on. Hello. At the end of the day, my top priority wasn't all out speed with this thing, but overall, I think it's still a very fast bike. It feels so efficient and good over everything, no matter the distance or the elevation gain or lack thereof. It may be my favorite ever road bike. I want to hear your thoughts. Do you hate it? Do you like the concept? What do you look for in a bike? Subscribe, and I'll love you forever. I'll be back. See ya.